Some of Washington's best wines get all or part of their grapes from the smallest appellation in the state, Red Mountain. It may have only about 700 acres of vines, but its rich, flavorful reds have earned a big reputation. In a recent tasting report, 20% of my top Washington wines used Red Mountain grapes. I'm Harvey Steiman, and I write about the wines from the state of Washington for Wine Spectator. I recently visited Red Mountain there, brought along my video camera, and talked with some of the area's winemakers. You'll find Red Mountain in southern Washington, at the eastern tip of the Yakima Valley. It's not much of a mountain, topping out at about 1,500 feet. It looks more like a table that tilts to the southwest. This exposure makes Red Mountain especially sunny and warm, and makes it perfect for ripening red grapes such as Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Syrah. Because Red Mountain is actually a desert region, the temperature often drops from daytime highs of 90 degrees to 50 at night, and it's very windy. That's why so many of the wines have crisp acidity and fierce tannins. A number of winemakers are learning how to tame those tannins while getting the rich layers of the flavors Red Mountain can deliver. It's that character that attracted Charlie Hoppus, who built his Fidelitas winery on Red Mountain, but also he had another reason.
In other appellations, it's almost limitless how many wineries could move in. Here, it's a smaller place, more of a destination maybe than some other areas eventually will become.
Fidelitas isn't alone on Red Mountain. One of the most famous neighbors is Col Solare, which is a joint venture between Antinori of Italy and Chateau Ste. Michelle. They planted a vineyard and built a winery there because they believe it's the best place for the full-bodied, Cabernet-based wines they want to make. Although there are about a dozen wineries in Red Mountain, most of the grapes come from independent vineyards that are quickly establishing their reputations, such as Ciel de Cheval and Clipson. The grapes go mostly to top wineries in and around Seattle, such as Quilceda Creek, Betts Family Cellars, Andrew Will, and Cadence. A new Seattle area winery that believes in Red Mountain is FST. I visited with Brennan Layton, the winemaker, who told me why he likes Red Mountain.
It brings out just this really intense fruit character. The structure is beyond anything that you can possibly get anywhere in the world, in my opinion. It has this fleshiness and robustness and yet focus that is it's really amazing. You have vineyards as Ciel du Cheval and Into the Road Ranch and Clipson, and I think they're making some of the best wines in the world off those vineyards.
Next up, Chris Gorman has already been in Wine Spectator's Top 100 with his plush reds, such as a Syrah Cabernet blend called Evil Twin. His Gorman wines all rely on Red Mountain grapes.
It's an area that, both being the hottest area in Washington State with the biggest swing of cool temperatures, I mean, we can ripen fruit and we keep a excellent acidity.
You have big fruit flavors, but also naturally high acidity, an equal portion of non-fruit flavors, which I don't know if that comes from the warm nights, the warm days and cool nights, or what, but you're definitely getting some non-fruit components in these wines, some earth, some mineral, which I always love.
That was Mark McNeely, whose Mark Ryan winery uses Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and Syrah grown on Red Mountain.
I still think Cabernet is king. I mean, that's my favorite varietal on Red Mountain. Syrah is coming up like a freight train, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with a little bit more vine age up there.
These winemakers do an exceptional job of taming the tannins, although they often take different paths. Layton, for example, uses native yeasts in the FST wines because he believes they produce softer tannins and softer textures. But he also stands next to the press, ready to turn it off when the wrong characteristics appear.
I'm waiting for those harder tannins at the back of the palate that almost feel like you're chewing on a piece of aspirin. But there's also a smell, like there's this greenness that starts to come at a press when you're getting those really hard tannins.
If you think of it as a block, our goal is to sand down those corners and make it a little more round, and that's always what we've done from day one.
The grapes produce ripe flavors that are layered and complex, which is why a few dedicated winemakers stuck with the region, even though the tannins would make a wine drinker pucker. Those winemakers who have learned to buff those rough tannins to a polish are making some of Washington's most distinctive wines. And that's why Red Mountain's renown, always high, is stronger today than ever.